Welcome, everyone, to Sacred Ground Community Church and Sangha. And welcome to our February 14th, 2021 Sunday morning service. Happy Valentine's Day. So we'll be talking about love, since it's Valentine's Day today, and love and understanding. And for those of you who are, hello there, welcome. Who are just tuning in, know that you can join us via Zoom for our Sunday services, and also you can watch the live stream on Facebook, and the recording will be up on Facebook and later on YouTube as well. Our church, we've been around since 2009, and we're grounded by Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings, and we boldly bring together the beneficial teachings of Buddhism, Christianity, and earth-centered spirituality, while also having an openness to all other worthy traditions. And one of the keys to our work at Sacred Ground is inviting ourselves into presence, inviting ourselves to be right here, right now. There's a lot of a buzz, I guess, about mindfulness. We hear that word all the time now, but to be truly mindful, to not be thinking about 3 minutes ahead, the next day, worries for the future, but to be here right now. That's our aspiration. With that, I have my Tibetan singing bowl. I will invite the bowl to sound. Welcome. And you're invited to simply enjoy the sound of the bell, to enjoy this present moment, whether you're watching us live or watching the recording, to be right here in this moment. We'll use the bell to invite us into mindfulness. Use anything. Maybe it'll be the robin bird that lands on the branch outside your window. Maybe it'll be the sound of the breeze. Maybe it'll be the laughter of your partner, or the bark of your dog. Use anything and everything to invite yourself into presence. That's the invitation. I'm going to offer a little centering right now before we go to the readings. Ollie will be offering the first reading from Thich Nhat Hanh, and then I'll be offering a reading from Luke today, before we go into guided meditation, Dharma Talk, prayers. So in a minute, I'm going to sound the bell again. And if you're sitting, you might be sitting in a full lotus or half lotus position. Meditation may be something that you do, 7 times a day. And meditation may be something that sounds interesting, but I've never really done it. Either way, and the full continuum of possibilities in between, the invitation is, again, to be here, to be present. If you're sitting in a chair, I invite you to notice your feet. I happen to be barefoot right now, and I can feel my feet on the carpeting in our home. But I know also that that carpet is on the old hardwood floors from the trees that were felled over 100 years ago. That I'm here on this earth. I'll invite the bell to sound. I'll give us a little more guidance towards presence. Invitation, all invitation. We're so often in our heads, in our thoughts. And I invite you to be just aware of your feet, aware of your feet on the ground. Aware of your bottom, aware of your, as we might say in Youngstown, your butt in the chair. And a thought might pass through, have I given any awareness to my feet recently or today? Aware of your arms there at your side. Aware of the weight of this body, mostly water. Feeling that pull of gravity. This body, which is, at least in my thinking, not all of us, but certainly it is part of who I am in this manifestation. It's part of who you are. With all its energy, with all its pain, aware that you're sitting here right now, housing all these organs, carrying around a liver, lungs, a spleen, muscles, blood, all of that moves with you, that is part of you. And I invite you to breathe in and out. And that breath is, of course, food for that spleen, for those lungs, for that blood. In and out. And with that in-breath and out-breath, we're feeding our feet, we're feeding our muscles, we're feeding our legs, we're feeding those arms. In and out. In, aware of this body. Out, grateful for this part of me. Aware. Grateful. Breathing. Nourishing. Breathing. Nurturing. Breathing. Caring. Breathing. Loving. Ali will now offer us the first reading. And as Thich Nhat Hanh sometimes says, we're invited to be like the earth. Just as the rain falls, the earth doesn't work hard. The earth just soaks it in. And so we invite you, with the readings and with all that we do here, to just soak in and take what is beneficial, helpful, and healing for you.
Our first reading today comes from Thich Nhat Hanh's The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching, and it is about love. The first aspect of true love is Maitri, the intention and capacity to offer joy and happiness. To develop that capacity, we have to practice looking and listening deeply so that we know what to do and what not to do to make others happy. If you offer your beloved something she does not need, that is not Maitri. You have to see her real situation, or what you offer might bring her unhappiness. In Southeast Asia, many people are extremely fond of a large thorny fruit called a durian. You could even say they are addicted to it. It smells extremely strong, and when some people finish eating the fruit, they put the skin under their bed so they can continue to smell it. To me, the smell of the durian is horrible. One day, when I was practicing chanting in my temple in Vietnam, there was a durian on the altar that had been offered to the Buddha. I was trying to recite the Lotus Sutra, using a wooden drum and a large bowl-shaped bell for accompaniment, but I could not concentrate at all. I finally carried the bell to the altar and turned it upside down to imprison the durian so I could chant the sutra. After I finished, I bowed to the Buddha and liberated the durian. If you were to say to me, "Tai, I love you so much I would like you to eat some of this durian," I would suffer. You love me, you want me to be happy, but you force me to eat durian. That is an example of love without understanding. Your intention is good, but you don't have the correct understanding. Without understanding, your love is not true love. You must look deeply in order to see and understand the needs, aspirations, and suffering of the ones you love. We all need love. Love brings us joy and well-being. It is as natural as the air. We are loved by the air. We need fresh air to be happy and well. We are loved by the trees. We need trees to be healthy. In order to be loved, we have to love, which means we have to understand. For our love to continue, we have to take the appropriate action or non-action to protect the air, the trees, and our beloved. Maitri can be translated as love or loving kindness. Some Buddhist teachers prefer loving kindness, as they find the word love too dangerous. But I prefer love. Words sometimes get sick and we have to heal them. We have been using the word love to mean appetite or desire, as in, I love hamburgers. We have to use language more carefully. Love is a beautiful word. We have to restore its meaning. The word Maitri has roots in the word mitra, which means friend. In Buddhism, the primary meaning of love is friendship. We all have the seeds of love in us. We can develop this wonderful source of energy, nurturing the unconditional love that does not expect anything in return. When we understand someone deeply, even someone who has done us harm, we cannot resist loving him or her. Shakyamuni Buddha declared that the Buddha of the next eon will be named Maitreya, the Buddha of love.
The second reading today comes to us from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 15, and I'll be reading all of chapter 15 today, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, and I'll be reading the King James Version. Then drew near unto him all the publicans and sinners for to hear him. And the Pharisees and scribes murmured, saying, This man receiveth sinners, and eateth with them. And he spake this parable unto them, saying, What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave the 99 in the wilderness, and go after that which is lost, until he find it? And when he hath found it, he layeth it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he cometh home, he calleth together his friends and neighbors, saying unto them, Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep which was lost. I say unto you, that likewise joy shall be in heaven over one sinner that repenteth, more than over the 99 just persons which need no repentance. Either, what woman, having 10 pieces of silver, if she lose one piece, doth not light a candle and sweep the house, and seek diligently till she find it? And when she hath found it, she calleth her friends and her neighbors together, saying, Rejoice with me, for I have found the piece which I had lost. Likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner that repenteth. And he said, A certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare? And I perish with hunger. I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. Now, his elder son was in the field. And as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And he was angry. And he was angry, and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he, answering, said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment. And yet thou never gavest me a kid that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found. Luke chapter 15.
Now I just want to invite us into a guided meditation, just a time of reflection and meditating. And today I'm going to have us think about our breath and just highlight that and reflect that on this Valentine's Day. The blessings that we get at any moment when we can remember our breath. This last week, we had a granddaughter born. And when each of us is born, we take our first breath into this world. And it was just such a blessing last night. I got to hold her, this little, beautiful being, and watch her breathing in and out as she slept in my arms. Also, this last week, one of our friends lost his father. And he was there with him when he took his very last breath. And so this breath that we take for granted all the time, this breath that's always with us, this breath welcomes us into this world. And this breath is the last thing to leave us when we leave this bodily form. And so this morning, we're just going to spend a few minutes thinking about our breath and focusing on it. I invite you all just to get in a comfortable position, to feel stable and strong, to close your eyes, and just focus on your breath as it goes in and out. Focus on the feelings in your body as your breath is going in and out. Focus on the cool air coming in, the warm air going out. Focus on the feelings as you feel the breath coming into your chest, into your belly, and then releasing and noticing how your body feels as your shoulders relax. And then you do it again. Notice the sound of your breath as it goes in and out. Now I invite you to take a deeper breath in. Feel your chest expand. You might even feel your skin expanding as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, really see your shoulders go down and relax. So focus on taking a deeper breath in and longer breaths out. Can you hear yourself breathing? Now connect as your breath comes into your lungs and see it going into your heart and into your bloodstream, the oxygen going through your body as you're breathing in and out. Again and again, the oxygen comes in, comes into your lungs, it comes into your heart, it goes through your body, it goes down to every part of your body. And then you release it. In and out. Now I want you to think about your own breath, your own first breath, as it goes in and out. And also think about your own last breath at some point. It will be our last breath as it goes in and out. And now let's move beyond ourselves. Somewhere in the world right now, a new baby is taking its first breath. Its breath of life, as it brings life into its body. As we breathe in, that baby breathes in for the first time and out. Somewhere else in this world, someone is taking their last breath right now. As we connect with them, say breathe in and breathe their last breath out. Somewhere in this world, someone is joyfully breathing in, smiling and laughing, and breathing out. Someone else right now in this world is angry, but they're breathing in, and they're breathing out. We are all connected by this breath. We all breathe the same air, quite literally. That's the reason why we're all wearing masks right now, that we are literally connected with every other person on this planet through our breath as we breathe in and we breathe out. We breathe in with all of humanity. As someone right now is just waking up. Someone right now is breathing in their sleep. But we also connect with all the animal world as we're breathing in and out. All the animals on this planet are breathing in and out. The birds that are flying above us right now are breathing in and out. Our animal pets, we have 2 dogs here, cats, breathing in and breathing out. All around the world, cows and sheep and deer breathing in and breathing out. And more than just humanity and more than just the animals, all the plant life. We are connected through this breath, breathing in and breathing out. The trees that surround us, they are breathing in and out. And this reciprocal and synchronous relationship, the trees breathe in and out. And we reciprocate and breathe in and out. Through our breath, we can connect through all of humankind. We can connect through the animal world. And we can connect through the plant world. In and out. In and out. We can connect with Mother Earth and all the living beings of Mother Earth in and out. We can connect to our lungs, the lungs of this planet, to our heart as our breath shines in and out, as our love comes in and out, as our life force, the life force of all around us, comes into us, goes through us to all parts of our body and goes out. And we can take that life force and we can extend loving kindness to all beings on this planet, in and out. And on this Valentine's Day, we can breathe loving kindness in and out as we connect with all beings through our breath. In and out.
Thank you, Ollie, for the guided meditation. I'll do the bell one more time. 3 more times. I chose to share the reading from Luke today, Luke chapter 15, from the King James Version of the Bible. And I love the old, rich language of the King James, and we can, have discussions about different versions. There's something else, too. I oftentimes read from what's called the NRSV, the New Revised Standard Version, but it has these subheadings, which can be helpful, but also then we sort of break things into sections and maybe miss some of the interconnectedness among some of the different stories. And for me, I view the Judeo-Christian Bible as sacred, as I do the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh and Buddhist sutras and so much else. And I'm interested. Probably part of this is I'm, the storyteller in me. I'm interested in the richness of meanings, the layers of meanings, the different meanings. And I think that when we do something like take a Thich Nhat Hanh reading, and then we take this very familiar story of the Prodigal Son and put it right afterwards, sometimes some new facets of the gem may shine forth. If you're interested in more of this, I have a podcast series that I did a year or so ago called Fresh Green Blessings, Reading the Judeo-Christian Bible Through a Buddhist Lens with Mother Earth Eyes. So whole podcast series of doing this. But I want to start by talking about chapter 15 in Luke. And we begin with the Pharisees and the scribes talking about the sinners and the publicans, and, oh my gosh, Jesus associating with them. And if we take Thich Nhat Hanh's view, the view of Maitri, as love equals understanding, I think we can say that perhaps those Pharisees and scribes don't understand those other people. They've created some sort of label for them. They see them as static, as unchanging, and they dismiss them. And maybe that's not so different than what many of us do to other people quite frequently. I know I've been guilty of that many times. And we see the shepherd who goes after the sheep. We see the proactive nature of the shepherd. We see the same thing with the woman looking for the coin. That this item, in the case of the coin that's been lost, can be found. And the same with the sheep and the celebration. And of course, we then take that to the Prodigal Son story. It's interesting to me, in that story, that younger son, he has agency. He goes and he, squanders the money and that, but then he himself decides to come back. And with humility, he's coming back as a servant. And the father meets him before he gets all the way home, but there's sort of agency on both sides. They're both kind of coming toward each other. And maybe that's more important than I've thought in the past. The other thing that I notice in this story is that in some ways there's not just one lost son, there's two. Because after the prodigal son comes home and they kill the fatted calf and they're dancing and making merry, then we have the elder son who comes in from the field. And he's pissed off, right? He's mad. He's been working his butt off. And, no party for me and my friends. And he refuses to come inside. So I'll just, if I can find that. Verse 28. And he was angry and would not go in. And therefore came his father out and entreated him. The father is going out, just as the shepherd went out to search for the sheep, just as the woman goes and looks for the coin. The father is being proactive here. And what does the father do? He talks to his son. And what's he trying to give his son? Understanding. Because in that moment, that elder brother has no love for his younger brother. And he's just pissed off royally at his father. And what the father wants to try to communicate to the son is understanding. Basically, Dad's trying to say, I want you to understand what's going on here with your brother. And I also want you to understand me and why I did what I did. And Thich Nhat Hanh tells us, without understanding, how can we love? In Buddhism, they sometimes speak of mirror-like wisdom. And I'm going to use that term in a slightly different way. But a lot of people have critiques of the Bible and all the violence in the Bible and all that. And that's real and genuine, and those critiques have validity. But what I want to invite myself and invite you into is to look at the mirror-like wisdom of the Bible. We have Cain and Abel, Isaac and Ishmael, Jacob and Esau, Joseph and his brothers. They put him in a pit. They sell him into slavery. We have these two brothers here. These are not stories that are centuries old. These are stories that are thousands of years old about siblings and their relationships. How many of us experience or know someone close to us who they have a sibling, a sister, a brother on the other side of the political divide? Maybe there's no longer any talk between them. Or maybe it's super strained. Or maybe it's not a sibling. Maybe it's a good friend, an old high school buddy. And now all of a sudden, there's this. I invite myself and I invite you into these old stories. I'm reading today from this King James Version. I'm reading from, this is my mom's Bible, and it says Ruth Jane Cassoni. That's her maiden name. My mom got married in the 1940s, so this is an old book, right? And so here it is, like these stories that, if you have a Jewish or Christian background, that have been told and recycled and rethought of for hundreds and hundreds of years. And are there some riches here that have not yet been mined? For me, yeah. What do we do about these? Ollie was speaking of breathing the same air. My gosh. Some of us have come from the same womb. And we don't know how to understand. I like what Thich says. He says Maitri is unconditional love, not expecting anything in return. We may be fortunate if we had a mom or a dad who was good at that, kind of like, here, let me help you see how your sibling would see this or how your friend would. But not everybody gets that. And maybe those parents are gone. And maybe there's someone else who could play that role, who can help with that. And the parents, even if they try, they often fail. But what resources can we draw on that can invite us into something like the conversation that father has with his older son? What can draw us into wanting to offer? Maitri, here. Maitri is the intention and capacity to offer joy and happiness. What can open us to that intention and capacity? That we want to not just be understood, but that we want to offer joy. Even to that loved one, whether it's a sibling, whether it's an old friend, who's seeing the world so differently than us. Jesus speaks of God as Father, and there's a wide range in terms of how we think of the great sacred, or if we think of God and everything else, but however we conceive it or don't conceive it, maybe we can ask for help. Just put it out there to the great sacred. Some of us are really great at this with our own kids, right? That unconditional love, but man, it's tough with our spouses, with our siblings, with our old friends. I think Thich Nhat Hanh gives us another little hint. To express all this, what does he talk about? Does he give us some heavy-duty story? He tells us this goofy story of durian fruit that he doesn't like the smell of and covering it with a bowl. I hope you get the humor. I hope you see that, like, he's making fun of himself, right? He's not taking himself too seriously. We're so damn serious about ourselves. Do I really have it effing all figured out so well that everybody should just follow what the hell I think is right or what the heaven I think is right? Or can I really create a space and just say, man, I don't understand, but I love that guy. Or I love her. I want to love her. I want to understand. Damn it, let me just let go of all my great knowledge of how it all works and what's all right, That older brother, he had it all figured out. Can we just let go of that and just say, man, how can I bring some love in here? How can I bring some love in here? What a freaking gift. What a freaking gift that we have stories of Cain and Abel and Isaac and Ishmael and Joseph and his brothers and the Prodigal Son and the apostles and their stuff with each other. Because we can look at it all and we could say, if Maitreya is the Buddha to come, then the Buddha to come is the Buddha of unconditional love. It's a Buddha of understanding. It's a Buddha of opening our hearts and listening compassionately. I'll ring the bell. We'll have a chance for joys and concerns in a minute if you're here with us on Zoom, or you could try and write that on Facebook, and Ollie can help me to share those. So if you'd like to share any joys and concerns, we'll have that in just a couple of minutes and a closing prayer. And first, Ollie will have our closing announcements.
So if you'd like to learn more about us, you can go to our website, which is theholynow.org. And on that, you can find some podcasts we have. We have a daily musing that we put out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of every week. And that is available on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Sacred Ground. It is available in a podcast audio form that you can find on our website, either theholynow.org or lifeasart.lifeasprayer.com has all our podcasts, including the other one that Michael mentioned, Fresh Green Blessings, which is reading the Judeo-Christian Bible through Buddhist lens and Mother Earth eyes. And so they're all on, if you just go to theholynow.org, you can find those. Upcoming events that we have on February 22nd, we'll have our men's mindfulness group that meets at 7 o'clock at night on Zoom. And you can register for that on, all the information is again on our website. We have a mindfulness discussion group that the next meets on Wednesday, February 24th. That again is at 7, that one's at 7 p.m. too. And that one is on Zoom also, and you can register on our website. And then the next Sunday will be, Sunday mindfulness service will be February 28th, 2 weeks from today. We are doing a seed sale fundraiser that ends tomorrow. So if you're interested in that, you can contact us and we can give you some information on our seed sale. And if you want to get in any seed orders, you need to do that by tomorrow. Also, if you're interested in making a donation to Sacred Ground, you can do that again on our website, theholynow.org. Thanks for joining us, and I'm going to give it back to Michael, and we're going to have some joys and concerns and an ending prayer.
Well, I'll throw in a couple. Joy is loving Carol, and kind of what I said Wednesday, the best love is learning to love when the other person's not perfect, not when they're perfect. Byron Katie, which, if you haven't studied her work, it's kind of the quickest path to loving your enemy. She has a very fun phrase like, love your enemy, but don't invite him to dinner. Which is kind of like the durian, like love the people who gave you the durian, but you don't have to love the durian. Anyway, that's a bit of a side, but anyway, loving your wife when she's not perfect is probably the greatest joy in my life. My concern is for myself and others to learn what Jesus said that seems kind of simple-minded, but I've almost never known anybody that didn't have some conflict with their neighbor, one or the other. Or we finally, I was a kind of asshole with neighbors on both sides and their dogs, and that's sort of reconciled. But now there's a guy across the street who like keeps selling houses that are going to be demolished, and like I'm not loving him yet, but that commandment seems so benign. And if I look back over my life, there's almost never been a neighbor that famous me didn't create an issue with. Now they did whatever they did too, but the famous me. So that's my wish, you know. It's not just like loving the Trumpsters out there, but our real neighbors, loving them, and in a way almost like finding the worst ones and figuring out how to love them. Because again, it's like anybody can love somebody who's kissing your ass, or the perfect neighbor. We still got one of the neighbors has a dog I don't love yet. The dog likes Carol, but the dog just snarls at me like I'm the devil. I think I'm going to buy one of these whistles that hurts its ears when it's barked, because sending out love and being present anyway hadn't worked. So love your neighbor's dog, but figure out how to shut it up or something. Anyway, so that's my wish, is that people, including me, people, learn how to love their neighbor better and better, and actually love ourselves as we continue to fail, stumble, and relearn this shit. Okay.
Along those same lines, we live in Austin, and there's going to be a proposition on a ballot in May about the homeless. And they want to ban their ability to live on the street without putting in place alternatives, which is very sad. And the city is pretty divided over it. And the vote is going to be really a heartache to see so many people say, well, we don't want them on the street, and we also don't want to house them in our neighborhood. If you find an empty residence, it's just make them go away. We don't want to see it. And so the idea that we operate from love in helping these unfortunate people who, by the grace of God, we're only one paycheck, one health crisis away from being them, is my wish and my concern that somehow between now and May 1st, we can shift the sentiment here, as has been done in other cities, to loving kindness and compassion and care for these individuals who are perhaps some of the reason they're homeless has been bad choices. But so what? It's today. We're present to them now. And what can we do to help in this time? That's it.
I'm going to share one little joy, or maybe it's a big joy, and maybe it's not one that that everyone can share. Certainly our friends in Texas can't quite, or maybe they could appreciate it for us, but we've had snow on the ground for, I don't know, a week and a half now, and they're predicting, I'm hoping, for another 6, 7, 8 inches. I'm just so thrilled. I love this. I was saying back in January that I felt like I got cheated again with another one of these fake winters in Columbus, Ohio, but we are getting the snow, and I had an opportunity a couple of days ago to be out playing for a bit with the grandkiddos in the backyard, and I'm just so appreciative. We walk the dogs most days, and we couldn't even walk the dogs one day because it was too cold for them, but Ollie and I took a walk, and I love the seasons, and I'm so grateful for that. So give thanks for that in this world where we have a planet and a climate in peril, but at the same time, let us celebrate what we can celebrate. We give thanks for this life, for these bodies, breathing in and out, for this air that we share, for the wombs, real and metaphorical, that we have shared, for our neighborhoods, and our neighbors, even if we're not quite there yet. We give thanks for humor. Somehow we're built for it. We're built for playfulness. We're built to giggle at ourselves. We're built like the prodigal son to come back to life when we are as if dead. And as Carol, Ollie, Chris, really as everyone has shared today, we're also built for compassion. That's pretty amazing. We're a part of this unknowable, unnameable something. We lean into our agency and our intentionality and our good-heartedness. With the aspiration that things that are helpful and good, things that ease pain and bring joy, emanate from these aspirations in ways seen and unseen, in ways known and unknown. In manners and places far beyond this moment and ourselves. Peace be with us all. Love be with us all. Loving kindness. Loving kindness. Loving kindness. Peace and amen. Thank you, folks. It's kind of cool to me. I know some people are watching our services later on video. And it's kind of cool to me to think that, oh, the prayer continues. The smile as we share about our own struggles and challenges, the smiles continue. The compassion for those in need continues. The stories tell us it's been going on a long time. May it continue. Peace and amen. We look forward to seeing you again.